Hey, you guys, it's your girl Bree. I come with a quick little message for you. Guess what, y'all? You have already shown God that you could weather any storm. Things are really about to turn around for you because you have determined your strength and your will to push forward even when life get hard. You're still standing and pushing forward because you know that this too shall pass. Your angels and God are covering you and leading you into a better territory. Your feet about to touch some grounds that you have never seen. Always thank Him in advance for everything that He is doing for you that you don't see what He's doing. Even when you don't see what He's doing, just thank Him. Because you made it when some of us didn't. His hands has been on you and he has seen you through. You see, us people, we see love with condition, but God loves us wholeheartedly. Love never fails us. And because God has love for us, he is positioning us in positions that we should have been in, but we delayed ourselves. You see, sometimes we delay our own blessings. Our blessings is not denied, it's delayed by the company we keep, the things we do, and the things that we're not doing. We have to learn to get out of our own way. We have to learn to allow ourselves to heal, move forward, and do the will of God that He's calling us to do. Excuse me, I got to get something to drink. Because He is calling us to take our rightful stands and do the things that we need to do. He never said it wouldn't was going to be easy. If anything come for you easy, that means it's not good. Because when you have to fight for something, I'm talking about put a little elbow grease, neck grease, feet grease in it, feet all swollen and all the rest of that, it's worth it. But if something comes to you like this, baby, I guarantee you that's a scam and a scheme behind it. That is something that's not from God. That is something that's easy because guess what? God doesn't give us microwavable stuff. He doesn't give us microwavable stuff. We have to tear in the spirit. We have to go through some things. We have to make sure that we are worthy of what we getting. See, that's why sometimes people be. You ever notice somebody they don't have much? They've been there like for years. They haven't been having much. Then all of a sudden they get blessed with something. It's because they were faithful over a little, so God knew that He could trust them with plenty. When you are trying to achieve something in life and stuff keep hitting you from the left, right, north, south, east, and west, you have to know that if I'm going through all this, I know something got to be big coming for me because I'm going through too much. I'm going through too much of stuff to say that I'm not getting something big. He hit me with too much of stuff. It's like he want to stop me from getting what I want. But you have to keep pressing forward. You have to keep pressing forward and you have to do everything in love. No matter what it look like, no matter how it may seem, love. Everything is in love. Do everything and consider it in love. And this another thing. Stop telling people about the blessings that you have blessed somebody else. Because God said when you bless somebody in private, He'll bless you openly. Sometimes we feel like telling our testimony of what we did for somebody else, that God told us to do that. Sometimes it just be our own pride for self want to tell that. Because God specifically says in His word, if you bless somebody in private, He'll bless you in open. He says, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. So sometimes you got to be quiet on what you're doing. Move inside. Don't tell nobody about none of your plans. Don't tell nobody about nothing you have going on until it's complete. Just stop speaking and let your actions show for itself. You see, because God's words, they're given to us. But see, God put his stuff in action. He shows us. He shows us that he is the great I am. He shows us that we're the head and not the tail. He shows us that we shall lend and not borrow. You heard? He shows us that we should be rulers over many nations. He shows us these things. We have to get into ourself, remove ourselves out of the situation, and learn to look spiritual at everything to see that we are getting things because we are getting God's promises because we are obedient to what he has told us to do. Obedience is better than sacrifice. See, listen, as parents, we sacrifice things for our children. Now, listen to me where I'm going. And our children be obedient to us so they can get the things that we are sacrificing for them that they want. See, and that's the same way with God. When we be obedient to God, we make that sacrifice. See, listen. Say you usually go out to eat every Tuesday at 12:30. But you stop going out to eat on that Tuesday at 12:30 and start reading your word and spending time with God. That's a sacrifice you have made. Say you used to spending money on stuff, but you choose to take the money that you used to spend on yourself and bless a family that's in need. That's a sacrifice. You heard me? People fail to realize God says surrender was for Caesar was for God, paying your tithes and offerings. Yes, when you do pay your tithes and offerings, you get blessings. But what you fail to realize is also too, paying your tithes and offerings is also giving back to the elderly, giving back to the youth, giving back to your community, giving it back to someone in need. That still is sowing a seed. That still is doing your tithes. That still, people get it confused. That is still doing something. That's your tithing right there. Giving back to his children. Because he tells you, the least you do unto one of mine shall be done unto you. Okay? He says we are here to be helpmates to one another. And we have to learn to help your further brother or sister when they are down. Whether it's prayer, whether it's secret donations, whatever it may be, whatever God lays up on your heart, that's between you and him. You don't have to go run and tell everybody of what you have done and how you have done it. Because then you miss your own blessings. Because anytime you got to tell somebody what you done for them, you're blocking yourself because that means you didn't do it from your heart. You did it to be glorified. You see, God, when he does stuff for us, he does it for his glory. So we can let somebody know, you know what, I was in a storm. My back was against the wall. I couldn't come out. Girl, I ain't see my way out. The water was to my neck. But God stepped in and he turned my situation around. See, it's so good to tell your testimony to somebody else, to encourage somebody else, because a lot of people go through things in silence, and until you speak up on it, then they won't say that it resonates with them. A lot of people are ashamed because of the things that they're going through. A lot of people are scared to ask for help because they feel rejected. Okay? They don't want to be rejected. They don't want to be told no. They don't want the door to be closed in their face. They don't want to be judged. I was having a conversation with my neighbor, and I was telling my neighbor that men don't like to take rejection. But us women, we get rejected all the time. Oh, you too dark. Your hair not long enough. You too big. Your booty not big enough. Your breast not big enough. So forth, so forth. And men, when they get rejected, they go all out the box. You heard me? But women get rejected all the time, and we handle our stuff. Same way somebody's rejecting you and how you feel, that's how God feels when you reject God and he's trying to bless you and he's trying to give you something. He's trying to show you something. The same how you feel when you see a guy and you like a guy, or you like a woman and you see her, you're trying to get to know her and she reject you. That feeling that you get is the same feeling that God gets when God is giving you signs and synchronicities that he has you, he's covering you, and you instead of rejecting what he's trying to give you. Sometimes God put things right here before your face, and you can't see what he's putting before your face because you're caught up on other things. then you end up missing your blessings that he has for you. I remember growing up, my grandma always say, never turn down a blessing because you never know when another one may come along. That's something that stuck with me for years. Everybody that comes in my life, I feel like it is a blessing. I either take something from that person or give that person something. Me and that person can have a conversation one time. Either I take something from that conversation or or I give them something for that conversation. But nothing happens by coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everybody crossed paths at the right time because that's what God's timing. That's how I feel about it. We as people have to learn to be willing to share, to be willing to help one another, to be willing to encourage one another, because we're all going through something. It's just some people make it look like what they're going through, some people are just stronger than others. Um, some people weaknesses is different things. The devil knows what to attack on each and every one of us. He know to attack our children, our finances, our marriage, our job, our family. He knows what to attack to make us get out of character. He knows these things. That's why it's good for us to stay covered. It's good for us to start praying for one another. It's good for us to start interceding. It is good for us to know that God sees how strong that we are. Because you know what? If everybody would sit down and take the time and just write everything that they've been through in their life, they would see how many times that God has come through for them. How many times have God has saved you? How many times have God restored you? And how many times have God has been a father, a mother, a sister, a brother, a preacher, a teacher, a confidant, a lover, a bank? All this. God has been each and every one of these things to us. The storms that we have withered right now in this season, we are reaping the harvest for the withered that we have been through. Some of us has been through some stuff that should have broke us. We should be dead right now. But God's grace and his mercy have kept us. We were able to overcome these things. We were able to press forward. Even people knew that we were going through these things, and they are amazed at the strength and how we are still standing. And the only reason why we are still standing is because God has his hands upon us. God is moving for us. See, the enemy loves to keep us stuck on what we did, on what we've been through. Some of us are still at an age where we've been hurt. Some of us still can't get past the hurt that happened, the molestation, the rape, the abuse, when our mothers left us, when our fathers left us. A lot of us are dealing with parental issues. And I say a lot of us. I have overcame mine, but I had a problem with that. I really had a big problem with that. And that's why I am the mother that I am today, because of the issues that I had with my mother. And the issues I had with my father. That's why I protect my children the way I protect them from whoever. Their fathers, their cousins, their grandmothers, their aunties. I don't care who it is. I'm going to protect mine by all means. And that's what God is doing to us. We are his, and he's protecting us. He's protecting us from evil people. He's protecting us from getting caught up in situations. I had plans today. I had plans to go grocery shopping and do all the rest of that stuff. But God had better plans. God had better plans for me to stay in this bed and rest. Some of us need to start listening to our body, because our body be talking to us. God talks to us through our body, do different things. God is trying to get our attention on some things. We have withered storms already. There's no need to keep dwelling on the storms that we withered, because, y'all, we are going into a season of nothing but the blessings. They are here and now. Remember last week your body was hurting. This week ain't nothing wrong with you. Last week you had $10 in your account. This week you got $1,200. Last week your car was acting up. This week your car is running fine. Last week your boss was acting stupid and all the rest. This week your boss is acting, trying to bless you with extra hours. If only we learn to be grateful for the storms that we went through. Learn the test from the storms that we went through and press forward from the things that are given to us, that are shown to us, that are thrown our way. We will see that God has us. He really has us in the palm of his hands. He's really working things out of us. Listen, I don't care who left you. Your mama left you, cool. She abandoned you, cool. She put a man before you, cool. You was raised by your grandparents, good, cool. Stop taking things for granted. Some children didn't have nobody. The streets raised them. Some of them was raised in foster care. Some of them don't even know their true family. Okay? You was abused. Okay. Accept that you was abused and move on. You didn't have no power, no control over that. But now you're grown. Heal yourself from that and speak. Be an advocate and talk about your hurt and what you've been through to pull these other little children out, to make these other little children go on. Because, a lot of times kids don't tell people about what they have going on because they don't want to be judged, or they family tell them what happens in their household stays in the house. I don't tell it to my kids. This is what I tell my kids. If you feel like I'm doing something wrong to you or mistreating you, tell somebody. Tell somebody. You heard me? If you feel like I'm doing you wrong or mistreating you, I want you to tell somebody. Tell them. Because I don't never want to hurt you intentionally. I'm going to tell you stuff because I'm preparing you for the real world. Because the world is cruel. Children are cruel. So I'm going to tell you stuff. So if another child tell you something, that ain't going to faze you. Because I'm building you. I'm making sure the foundation that is inside of you is strong. And that's why God allows us to go through stuff. Because he wants our foundation to be strong. He wants, when people do us dirty, when people turn their back on us, when people betray us, when people do all this, he wants us to be able to still stand. He wants that foundation within us to still be solid. He wants us to know that we can weather any storm that comes our way. Good, bad, or whatever, we can weather it. Because he has brought us through. He has kept us. He has allowed us to go through the storm. He has ministered to our spirit. His angels and them are protecting us. At all times, we have to stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused. Oh, hold on, you guys. Hold on. That's my son. Hold on.